Good morning, everybody. Come on in. Good morning. Good morning. Listen, we broadcasting from two different spots today. Here, let me, how do I take this off? So we're broadcasting from two different spots today. We're broadcasting live on YouTube, and we're broadcasting live over here on TikTok. This is TikTok. This is YouTube. Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year's Eve. Come on into my room. Hey, Really B. Y'all thank Really B, because I really wasn't going to talk about this, because I'm just at the point where I feel ain't nothing going to happen to Donald Trump. Language of Horses, that's a new name down in the chat over here on YouTube. Welcome. But y'all thank Really B. I wasn't going to talk about it. She called me out. Which is good, because now I get to reintroduce the Dotard files. It looks like there's going to be a lot of talk about Donald Trump over the next few years. So, yeah, we need to bring back the Dotard files. Hey, Grandpa. I appreciate all of your support. You be down in the comment sections of all of my videos. Hey, No Salt, long time no see. Hey, Barbara, you changed your name. Hey, Lynette. Hey, Tracy. Let's see who's over here on hey, Micah. Listen, over here on TikTok, make sure y'all are following Micah. That's my little sister. She comes through with the tea. She's the video I shared in regards to Andrew Tate. Hey, everybody over here on TikTok. Hey, Black Pearl. Hey, Leslie. Her name is Micah Hinton. She's down in the chat. Hey, Dark Priest. Ooh, I don't know about that name, but okay. Okay. All right. Hey, Micah. Keith Crafts. Thanks, Queen. Okay, now listen. We talking about Trump, and y'all know how it's gonna be down in the comment section. I don't know if I got any. I know over here on Instagram, not Instagram, on YouTube, I got some moderators down in the chat, so I think I'm good over here. But I don't know about over here. Oh, there goes Sister Girl Jess. Listen, the trolls are gonna come in. Number one, because we talking about Trump. Number two, they can't resist this brown sugar. Okay, they hate the brown sugar, but they can't resist it, baby. They can't. So they gonna be over here. They gonna be over here. They gonna be in here. I ain't got time for them. I don't have time for the nonsense today. I don't have time for the nonsense. They gonna come in here and say the taxes don't show nothing abnormal. Well, if you're not looking for it, of course, you're not going to see it. But I got some questions, and I'm not a tax expert, but I see a lot of similarities in what he's doing with his taxes based on what I saw that he was doing with them loan documents. Remember, he would overinflate so that he could get the loan. He would overinflate his income. Well, he's doing the reverse with his taxes. He's talking about he did this much business, but he lost so much money that there's no money to tax, right? And somebody put down in the comments of my video telling y'all I was going to go live that people are asking the question, why wasn't he properly audited the way that President Obama was audited? Come on, don't ask that question. You know why. You know why he wasn't audited the way that President Obama was audited. Listen, let's not do the semantics. All right. And for years we've been hearing him talking about Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and their connections to China. He's even talked about Mitch McConnell and his wife and their connections to China. I don't know about Mitch McConnell, but it has been reported that Joe Biden's taxes has been audited and there has been no financial connections between Joe Biden and China. But who has financial connection to China? That would be Donald Trump. That would be Donald Trump. In the revelations of his taxes being put out there, we found out he's got businesses over in China. Stop it. This music in his blanket, and y'all know I can't. It's like nails on a chalkboard for me. But he's got businesses over in China. He's got bank accounts over in China, and he's paying taxes in China. Whereas he's stealing from the United States. See, look at this. Don't listen to her. She's flat out lying. Okay. That's over here in TikTok. Y'all can let him go. Is Big Bird down in the chat? Is Asia down in the chat? Y'all can get rid of him. I ain't got time for it today. So one article is from CNN. This article is from CNN. And y'all know I quit CNN. I don't watch CNN. I rarely read what's going on over on CNN. But since Whiskey Really B called me out, I went researching, and this has a lot of information in it. A lot of information. And I found this quick little article over on Raw Story. Now, over on YouTube, y'all know I'll put the links to these articles. Y'all can get the link, do all of your research for yourself. But we're going to talk about this CNN article because I found it quite interesting. It's the article that leads me to believe that he's doing the same thing he was doing with his loan. The kids too. Chanel TTCL says his kids too. Absolutely. They mentioned a brief transaction that took place between Donald Trump and his kids. And I hate to call them kids because they grown ass adults. Grown ass adults. So let me turn this music off and let's get into it. Let's get into it. So you have to remember, everything with Donald Trump is projection. And eventually it all comes out. It all comes out. So over here on TikTok, I need all of the hearts. I need to get to 50,000 likes. I need all of the hearts over here. Language of Horses over on YouTube says he paid more taxes in China than he did in the US. That is facts. His tax returns don't lie. His tax returns do not lie. Okay, so the title of this article from CNN is Key Takeaways from 6 years of Donald Trump's federal tax returns. And y'all know how I do it. I'm reading what these journalists are putting together, and y'all know I'm going to have something to say about it. Y'all know I'm going to have something to say about it. How do you do the hearts? You just tap the screen. Tap the screen. Tap the screen. In size, definitely not maturity. You're right. You're right. Diamond Pearl says bank account. Oh, he got bank accounts all over the world. He got bank accounts all over the world. Okay. And it's going to list where he got these bank accounts, because you have to put all of that on when you're filing taxes. When you're filing. First, I want to show y'all this This snapshot. Hold on. I found this when I was out there on Twitter. See this snapshot? You see down there in 2020 when he was going out as a president, that ninja got an almost $5 million tax refund. I don't know if y'all gonna be able to see it over here on YouTube because of the glare from the light. But in 2020, he got a $5,468,593 refund. Thank you, Darkbone. I appreciate the super chat. He got more of a refund in 2020 than what he paid in taxes for the 5 years before. Somebody say 5 million? 5.5 million. 5.5 million. 2015, he paid 641,000 in taxes. Now this is a billionaire. In 2016, he paid $750 in taxes. I paid a whole lot more than that. I'm not a billionaire. In 2017, he paid $750 in taxes. 2018, he paid $1 million in taxes. In 2019, he paid $133,000 in taxes. In 2020, he got a $5.5 million tax refund. Now, we can't say he worked the system. That's what that's what he claims, and that's what his followers claim, his cult members. You know, he's just a smart businessman. He worked within the tax laws, yada, yada, yada. But did he work within those tax laws legally? Which I'm going to start off with this article from Raw Story. And it's just a brief synopsis. It don't go into deep detail. It just gives you an idea. Final nail in his coffin. Trump's taxes contain powerful evidence of criminal tax evasion. In a column for the Daily Beast, longtime investigative journalist and Donald Trump biographer David K. Johnston made the case that there is enough evidence of financial fraud in the former president's tax returns from 2015 to 2020 to indict and prosecute him. The same way that the state of New York was investigating all of his business dealings. Remember the situation that he had going on with Deutsche Bank and all of that was going on, the bank loans and all of that. It's the same thing with his taxes. At issue, he noted, are deductions taken for Trump companies, some of which may never have existed. Goes on to talk about this book that he wrote, and there's a quote from it. Powerful evidence of criminal tax evasion. After reviewing the documents after they were released on Friday morning to the public after years of obstruction from Trump, he says this: consider a rich business owner who fabricates deductions, but who would still owe zero taxes in the audited year, even if those deductions were denied. So how are you claiming these deductions and they were denied? He was claiming them anyway. I will say that the IRS also dropped the ball, but continuing on, that means an audit that will not generate any tax revenue. That's also what Trump apparently did in 26 sole proprietor or Schedule C filings. He did this 26 different times in the 6 years where the tax returns were released. Trump also turned a profit off a portion of the tax system, making 2.8 million profit off of the alternative minimum tax. Y'all remember when during Trump's presidency, when him and the Republican Party put together this tax scam? I called it the tax scam bill. Remember that? And it gave corporations and businesses these tax breaks permanently, and we got a small portion of a small piece of a tax break. For me, it was like 20 bucks. I got like 20 bucks back in my paycheck. But those tax breaks were temporary. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? Donald Trump and all of the rich Republicans, and the rich Democrats, they benefited from that tax scam. Y'all remember that? Okay, a lot of people over here remember that. Darn shame. Yes, the company tax breaks. Yes, and those tax breaks for us expire. Absolutely. Okay, so my people over on YouTube and my people over here on TikTok, y'all remember that. As for those 26 Trump businesses that may or may not exist, Johnston suggested that investigators dig deeper into how the former president used them to get out of paying taxes. Now, listen, I don't know about y'all. When I am claiming a deduction, let's just say charitable deductions, I can claim up to $500. Anything more than $500, I have to provide proof. I have to provide a check stub, some sort of receipt that I donated all of this stuff or money to be able to get a deduction for it, right? Donald Trump didn't do any of that. We're going to get into that with the other article. Most glaring in the tax returns is that they include 26 Trump businesses or imaginary businesses. So he's not even proving that these businesses are real. I think I saw somewhere where Donald Trump claims to have over 500 different businesses. This guy is saying at least 26 of them can't be proven to be real. With zero revenue and hundreds of thousands of dollars in tax deductions for expenses. So he's showing no income from these businesses, but he's getting deductions for these businesses. Houseway. If you're supposedly not making any money, why are you claiming these deductions? That's how he gets to that 5.5, $4.5 million. Unless Trump can produce records showing the expenses are real and meet other standards to be deductible, that's fraud. If he can't prove it, it's fraud. Thank you for the super chat over here, really B. I appreciate that. So let's get into the key takeaways that this journalist over at CNN put together after reviewing Donald Trump's tax returns. Now, the one thing he noted was that there's thousands upon thousands of documents that were included in Trump's tax returns. And I believe that is to overwhelm anyone that would have to go through his tax returns to audit them. You know how they do in a court of law? They will bury key evidence amongst thousands upon thousands of paperwork to overwhelm investigators. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack. That's what Donald Trump is doing. Okay, so 6 years of Donald Trump's federal tax returns released on Friday show the former president paid very little in federal income taxes the first and last year of his presidency, claiming huge losses that helped limit his tax bill, among other revelations. I showed y'all this other snapshot. Let me pull it up in the video that I did. And it's a snapshot from MSNBC in how, let's start over here with TikTok, in how he lost millions in 2015, 2016, 2017. And then in the prime of his presidency, he was bringing in millions. I told y'all in the video that I did, that right away tells me he was using the presidency to make money. And then after his ass was voted out, he went back to losing millions. Just focus on the colors, y'all, over here on YouTube. The colors, he's lost millions of dollars. The green, he's made millions of dollars. The green, he was the president of the United States on his way out. I think at this point he had gotten comfortable. Nothing was really happening to him when all of his corruption was being put out there. So he was like, F it. Let's make this money. Let's get this wet, right? I'll put those snapshot over on Instagram. The returns long shrouded in secrecy. Remember, it's been a battle. From the time he was campaigning back in 2016, he was talking about he was going to show his tax returns or he was being audited. Come to find out, he really wasn't being audited. If he was being properly audited, there would have been some questions about what they getting ready to pull out from his tax returns. The returns, long shrouded in secrecy, were released to the public on Friday by the House Ways and Means Committee, the culmination of a battle over this disclosure that went to the Supreme Court. They confirmed a report issued from the Joint Committee on Taxation that Trump claimed large losses before and throughout his presidency that he carried forward to reduce or practically eliminate his tax burdens. For example, his returns show that he carried forward $105 million in losses in 2015 and then $73 million in 2016. So if you're losing money and not bringing in money, there's no income to tax. And I believe he was lying. The thousands of pages of documents from the former president's personal and business federal tax returns, which spanned the years of 2015 through 2020, provide a complex web of raw data about Trump's finances, offering up many questions about his wealth and income that could be pursued by both auditors and Trump's political opponents. Because the tax returns don't lie. He put this together. Him and his people put these tax returns together. And we saw in that one snapshot that he was a loser. He was losing, hey, stop it. He was losing millions of dollars. Whatever he was doing business-wise, he was failing, right? This is what he said. This is what he said. Okay, so it goes into the sections. It says the return shed light on questionable tax claims. I'm jumping right on down here to where I got it highlighted. And it says in each year of his presidency, for example, Trump claimed he received exactly $18,000 in interest on a loan he said he gave his daughter Ivanka. $715,000 in interest. He got that from his son, Donald Trump Jr., the one that loves the booger sugar. In 2017 to 2019, Trump said he received exactly $24,000 from his son, Eric. And then he got another $19,605 in interest in 2020. Now, here's the problem with that, why it should be investigated. They say this raises the question of whether the loans were bona fide or whether they were disguised as gifts so that the gift tax laws would not have been triggered. So they could have been gifts to his children. And he disguised it as interest from loans he gave to them. And the reason why they're finding that suspicious is because interest is rarely rounded to whole numbers, rounded up or rounded down to whole numbers. Interest would typically be $5.65, not just $5. So they are looking at that as a red flag. And if the audit is done properly, the auditor would want to see record of those payments, the agreement, the interest rates. They want to see so that they can do the proper calculation. But for some reason, that wasn't done. Goes on to talk about one of his businesses, DJT Aerosmith. This is the business that handles his helicopter, his private helicopter. Okay, his personal helicopter. He claimed $42,000, $42,965 in income. Maybe he rents out his helicopter to be used by other people. And by doing that, he made $42,965 in income. But he turns right around and says he had expenses for this business that totaled $42,965. That's questionable. Because if you're running a business, you are trying to get an income, right? In other words, every single dollar to the dollar the company earned was negated by the company's expenses. And so what does that leave? That leaves zero income to tax. And he's been doing this across the board with his taxes. This is why he ends up paying $750 in taxes. It goes on to this section. It basically points out that it's a statistical impossibility to have income and expenses equaling the same. Sometimes you can have income and the expenses outweigh the income. He could have had $50,000 in expenses where he only brought in $42,000, right? That could be a possibility, but for them to equal out the same, that's a red flag. Goes into talking about the fight in getting Donald Trump's tax return. We all been present for that, right? It had to go to the Supreme Court. First it came from Auntie Maxine, right? Auntie Maxine told us that he was a crook. That's when she was trying to get records from Deutsche Bank and his tax returns. So it goes into all of that and how we came about to get his tax returns. And then it goes into talking about the returns show how he held foreign bank accounts while in office. Now, remember, Donald Trump said that he divested from all of his business and anything foreign related business. Like, remember, he was supposed to cut all of that off. He told us his son Eric was taking over the business, right? Y'all remember that? He told us his son was taking over the business. Well, most of us with the brain knew that wasn't going to happen, right? We knew that, right? Well, it didn't happen. Trump reported having foreign bank accounts between 2015 and 2020, but he telling all of his people America first, right? He telling all of his people America first. So why does he have businesses going on outside of the country, paying those different countries the taxes that's required, which equals 3 times as much as what he's paying here in the United States? Hey, Bonnie. Okay. Trump was required to report the accounts to the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. The filings show that the former president maintained foreign bank accounts in countries such as the United Kingdom, Ireland, and China. The China bank account, which was reported by the New York Times, this came out back in 2020, was tied to Trump International Hotels Management business push in the country. Trump organization lawyer Alan Garden said at the time. So, he has all of these different hotels. He obviously has one over in China. Why did he need a Chinese bank account? The 2020 disclosure of business dealings in China came as the Trump campaign sought to portray Biden as the puppet of China. Just like I said, he has been talking shit about Donald Trump and China, not Donald Trump, Joe Biden and China, and trying to make this connection as if there's something nefarious going on between Joe Biden, Hunter's laptop, and China. He's been putting all of the spotlight on Joe Biden when it is actually him that's got dealings with China. Indy Ray says Leavenworth awaits him. I doubt it. I doubt it. That's why I've kind of like, yeah, I doubt it. It's frustrating to see all of this going on and nothing's happening. The returns also show that Trump paid more in foreign taxes than in U.S. federal income taxes in 2017, the first year of his presidency. 2017, Trump paid $750 in U.S. federal income taxes. Yet Trump paid nearly $1 million in taxes to foreign countries that year. You want to do business in my country, you're going to pay the taxes. There's no skirting around it. There's no lying. There's no, deductions. This is what you owe. This is what you're going to pay. The fact that Trump paid foreign taxes isn't in itself surprising. No, if he's required to pay that, he should pay that. This is why I'm also saying that the IRS dropped the ball. They didn't properly audit this man. But baby, they be on my ass. They be on my ass. Every year they be on my ass looking for their money. The fact that Trump paid foreign taxes in itself is not surprising, but it shows how Trump's companies and business interests span the globe and how those businesses are subject to local tax laws and regulations. On his tax return, Trump listed business income, taxes, expenses, or other notable financial items. And as Azerbaijan, I know I'm pronouncing that wrong, Panama, Canada, India, Qatar, South Korea, the United Kingdom, China, the Dominican Republic, the United Arab Emirates, the Philippines, Grenada, U.S. territory Puerto Rico, Georgia, Israel, Brazil, St. Martin, Mexico, Indonesia, Ireland, Turkey, St. Vincent. He has no problem paying taxes to all these other countries, but will cheat the United States out of what he owes the United States. But America first. America first. Okay. Trump claimed no charitable deductions. This is going, remember when Donald Trump said, as president of the United States, he gets a $400,000 salary, and he wasn't going to take that salary. He was going to give it back to charity or back to the government some way, shape, or form. Y'all remember that? How many of y'all knew it was a lie? How many of y'all knew it was a lie? How many of y'all? I don't see no hands. How many of y'all? Okay, so I see some hands up over here. Baby. There is no proof on any of his tax returns that he took that money and donated it to charity. It would show on the tax returns. It would show. During his presidency, Trump pledged he would donate the entirety of his $400,000 salary to charity each year. He frequently boasted about donating parts of his quarterly paycheck to various government agencies. You would put that on your tax returns because that is a legitimate deductible. That was a legitimate deductible. There's no proof that he donated any of this money. While the press, this is from Donald Trump, while the press doesn't like writing about it, nor do I need them to, I donate my yearly presidential salary of $400,000 to different agencies throughout the year. Remember Trump talked about that? Here's what they found from his taxes. If he donated his 2020 salary, he didn't claim it on his taxes. And if you are smart, you would definitely claim that on your taxes. It's a legitimate deduction. Among the 6 years of tax returns the House Ways and Means Committee released, 2020 was the sole year in which Trump listed no donations to charity. Trump's finances took a sizable hit in 2020, probably as a result of the pandemic and the lack of demand for vacations and lodgings in his hotels. Trump reported large donations to charity in 2018 and 2019, which helped reduce the amount he owed on millions of dollars in income he reported in those years. But Trump also posted a massive 4.8 million adjusted gross loss, which alone wiped out all his federal income tax obligations. Trump paid $0 in federal income tax in 2020. And that is the year, Mama, that is the year he got the big refund. I showed y'all in that snapshot. The Joint Committee of Taxation raised questions about the accuracy of some enormous charitable deductions. So the deductions that he did claim, they think it's wonky. Something's wrong with it. Including large and unsubstantiated cash gifts, Trump's also claimed a 21.1 million deduction in 2015 for donating 158 acres of his 212-acre property called Seven Springs in North Castle, New York. That donation, which was made to a land trust, is a focus of the Manhattan District Attorney's criminal investigation of the Trump's organization. So he claimed this deduction because of this donation of the land. There's no proof of it. And so now he's under investigation for that. He is now under investigation for that. Wonder if the business got PPP monies. All of that is public record. You can go into some website, some government website, but they have a lot of these businesses have different names. I mean, DJT Aerospace, one of them. That's the one where the income and the expenses are the same, which bring up a red flag. Shannon says that one could hit. JH says they're going to get him. They have it to where you can't really cheat on your taxes, especially if they decide to audit you. Well, that's one of the issues. The IRS didn't do what it was supposed to do as far as auditing Donald Trump. The base will hear it, will never, Bonnie, they won't hear it. I mean, I'm into the choir right now. I'm just breaking down to y'all some of the red flags that popped up in this article that I'm reading regarding his taxes. I mean, all of us know he's a liar. We know he's a liar and a cheat. Hey, sweet lamb, we know he's a liar and a cheat. We know it. I'm preaching to the choir right now. And his cult members, his followers, they're going to say he's a smart businessman. They're going to say nothing's fishy about the tax returns. This is what they're going to say. I'm here to tell you there's something fishy about the tax returns. And this is what they're pulling out. I'm not a tax expert, but I already see a pattern. I told y'all I could pick up on patterns. He minimizes his income because if you have low, whatever you're bringing in, that's what you get taxed on. So if he says he ain't bringing in nothing, what are they going to tax you on? What are they going to tax you on? NOSAW says the IRS can legally go back 7 years. Now, I'm sure somebody's going to dig deeper and somebody's going to investigate, somebody who matters. My issue is he going to go to jail? Is he going to be held accountable? I'm sorry. I don't think so. I don't think so. And this is why I kind of like, it's beating a dead horse. We know the man is corrupt. We know he's a liar. We know he's a cheat. We know he's a loser. We know he's been using the system to his advantage, not for the betterment of the United States. So the whole America First is bullshit. America First is bullshit. And look over here. Yes, Biden will be held accountable. Forget what Donald Trump's doing. Let's pay attention to the nothing burger that is Joe Biden. Let me tell you, Joe Biden's taxes have been investigated. They've been fully audited. He holds no financial ties to China. But who does? Who does? Who holds financial ties to China? Whose daughter ended up walking away with 64 different trademarks from China where she couldn't get that before Donald Trump's presidency? But they're down in here talking about Joe Biden's going to be held accountable. So when I'm talking and sharing this information, I'm not talking to the delusional. These people are delusional, and they support Donald Trump for one reason and one reason only, and that is he speaks their language, and he enables them and allows them to be hateful and racist to marginalized people. When I see you down in my chat talking that bullshit, I see you as a racist, a hateful racist, nothing more. I see no intelligence. I see no one grounded in reality. I see a hateful racist, nothing more. I don't listen to you. You bring nothing but fact. You don't bring any facts whatsoever. You don't even bring a screenshot. You bring talking points. That's it. You can't elaborate on the talking points, not in the least. You're hateful, ignorant, racist. That is all. And Trump is getting rich off of your ignorance. Trump is stripping the United States. He's got the cupboards bare. while you're down in the chat talking about Joe Biden, a billionaire who made no money. I showed y'all his tax returns show he was losing millions. Year after year after year, he was no billionaire. And just think, the delusional, his supporters, they are advocating for someone who is a billionaire that's picking their, if we could get Donald Trump to stop smooshing off of the system, we might be able to get a piece of something. we might be able to get a piece of something if we could get Donald Trump and corporations and other corrupt MFers from mooching off the system. They are true. They are the true welfare recipients. We talked about Brett Favre. I've titled him the welfare queen. I don't care about Barbara Walters. We're going to stay on task. Donald Trump is who we're talking about today. And they love to tell you to get off the Democrat plantation. Who said I was on it? See, this is showing. They look at me, a black person, and they automatically assume, oh, she's on the Democrat plantation. Why? Because Candace told you so? Because Candace told you so? I'm not a Democrat. I call out Democrats just as much as I call out Republicans. It just so happens y'all motherfuckers are the ones that are a part of the everyday conversation because of the dirt shit y'all do in all aspects of life. It's just not politically. It's spiritually, it's education-wise. Y'all are just dumb all across the board. I know that's right, Tracy. Okay, let me get back to this article. Let me stop addressing the hateful races. Okay, so it then goes into saying Trump's own 2017 tax law appears to have reduced the amount he was able to deduct from the tax bill. So that tax scam bill that they put forth and they passed, it limited how much he could deduct. So it kind of, the way I'm reading is, it kind of like sort of backfired in this avenue as far as him being able to deduct what he's usually able to deduct. Trump claimed that the 2017 Republican tax plan he championed and signed would cost him and his family a fortune. Now, I remember that. I remember when he said it, and I knew it was a lie. It wasn't going to cost him a fortune. But he pumped it up to make you all believe that y'all was getting something, whereas he and the other rich people and the corporations were not. Okay? It's not clear that it did. But it appeared to have limited the amount that he could claim in one part of his complex tax returns. The 2017 tax law capped the state and local tax deduction known as SALT at $10,000 a year. In previous years, tax filers were allowed to deduct more of their SALT payments. Although the law was passed in 2017, it didn't apply until the 2018 tax year. So in 2018, Trump listed $10.5 million in state and local taxes, but could deduct just $10,000 of that from his taxes. In 2019, Trump paid $8.4 million in SALT, but was capped at $10,000. And in 2020, Trump said he paid $8.5 million in SALT, but claimed the maximum allowable was $10,000. So you know he mad about that. You know he mad. By comparison, in 2016 and 2017, Trump was able to deduct significantly more from state and local taxes. For example, in 2016 and 2017, he was able to deduct 5.2 million each year. He went from being able to deduct 5.2 million to only being able to deduct 10,000. Some Democrats criticized the 2017 tax law cap for taking aim at residents in the Northeast and the West, who have some of the highest property taxes in the country. The Tax Foundation found that property tax deductions capped in 2017 had previously accounted for about a third of all state and local tax deductions. But Trump defended the provision, saying the cap was necessary even if it would hurt his own finances. I wonder why that is. It's not clear how much the SALT cap hurt Trump, however. Although that particular deduction was capped, Trump claimed many other deductions that limited the amount of federal income taxes he had to pay. So what he put into place not only affected him, but affected some of the everyday hardworking people here in the United States. Goes into talking about presidential audits, and this is the last section. Again, I will put links to these articles so you guys can read them, because I skimmed through it. You know, I did my highlights and I skimmed through it to talk about the things that stood out to me. The Ways and Means Committee, which is responsible for overseeing the IRS and writing tax policy, requested the returns under the authority of Section 6103 of the U.S. Tax Code. Their report focused primarily on whether Trump's tax returns during this time in office were properly audited under the IRS's mandatory audit program for U.S. presidents. So while he's screaming, this is why I tell you, Joe Biden's taxes have been audited. Obama's taxes were audited. Somebody dropped the ball when it came to Donald Trump's taxes. The committee found that the IRS opened only one mandatory audit during Trump's term for his 2016 tax return. So beyond that, they did no audits of Donald Trump's taxes. Had they have done audits, they may have found some stuff. When we say that Donald Trump was beholden to outside influences, these tax returns show us that. Remember the snapshot, he was losing millions, and then he started making millions. Where was I? So they only audited the 2016 tax return. That's when he was going into office. And that didn't take place until 2019. So they didn't review his 2016. They didn't do an audit of his 2016 taxes until 2019. And that was because Chairman Richard Neal, who is a Massachusetts Democrat, he sent a letter asking the IRS for Trump's tax return and tax information. The report characterizes the presidential audit program as dormant. Automatically became dormant when Donald Trump came into office. And y'all know why that is. Because of Steve Mnuchin, Donald Trump, Steve Mnuchin was over the Treasury, remember? That's why it became dormant. He put all of the right people into place. The research that was done as it relates to the mandatory audit program was non-existent. Republicans on the committee argued that Democrats acknowledged it was not necessary to publicly release the private tax information to change requirements on the presidential audit program. Now, I don't remember that. It could have happened, but this specifically says to release his tax returns. I remember that they weren't trying to release his tax returns to the public. That's totally different from his taxes being audited. Quit playing with me. Don't play with me like that. Don't play with me like that. Releasing his tax returns to the public is totally different from having his taxes audited. Don't play with me, Republicans. Your delusional crowd may fall for that. They have. But no, not to those of us who've got questions, who think critically. No. A Republican, let me make sure I'm not skipping anything. A Republican dissent issued Friday warned that Democrats' dangerous precedent will lead the American public to demand other people's tax returns to be released. I don't have a problem with that. Do y'all have a problem with that? I think we should know what's going on with anybody who's leading this country. I think we should have a clear view of how they have run their finances over the years, who they have financial ties to. I think we should know that. I don't care who's running, who's in the office, a Republican or a Democrat. I think we should know that. I don't have a problem with it at all. I don't have a problem with it. But let me tell you what they're going to do. Because, the House is now going to be majority Republican. They ain't got no policies. They ain't got no policies. They don't have no plans, none of that. They're going to be investigating. And they're going to be investigating Joe Biden. Mind you, they've already audited Joe Biden's tax returns. They're going to have all sorts of investigation. Tracy says, open it all up. I have no problems with it. Let's look at everybody's tax returns. In fact, it should be a part of their presidential campaign, their presidential run, to make a audited. We need a full glimpse, an audited report of those who are running for president. It should be made public. Last week, the House passed a bill that would reform the presidential audit process in a largely symbolic vote before Republicans take the majority in Congress. The legislation is not to be taken up by the Senate before the new Congress is sworn in. I highly recommend you go in and read it in its entirety. But those are the takeaways from me. How is it that you have income and expenses that equal the same and give you a net zero? That's how you end up not paying taxes. Why do you keep putting Joe Biden out there as having these financial ties to China and making it a nefarious thing? Because you have ties to China financially, and it's a nefarious thing. America first, not when you're paying other countries their fair share and you're cheating the United States out of its fair share. What's going on with that in those interest payments from his children? What about the 6 different times, the 26 different times? That's this article from Raw Story, which they got from the Daily Beast. The Daily Beast may have more in context. The 26 different times where Donald Trump claimed some type of deductible in these businesses that they really can't tell are businesses. They can't tell if these businesses are legit businesses. So don't tell me there's nothing going on with Donald Trump's tax returns. I'm not a tax expert, and I can pull out some shit that don't look right. Tracy says, they all over. That's all they're gonna talk about. They made it clear already when it came out that they got the votes to be the majority in the House. The first thing they came out and talked about was Hunter Biden's laptop. Remember, they campaigned on crime and education and all of that. But the first thing they want to talk about once they found out they won the House is investigating Hunter Biden's laptop. I don't give a shit about Hunter Biden. He doesn't hold any political office in these here United States. I don't give a shit. Anywho, that's all I got for y'all. I have to prepare whiskey for fireworks tonight. We had to get us a prescription because nothing else works. Nothing. No Thunder shirt, none of the common shoes out, nothing else works. We had to get a prescription. And so let me give y'all a tip. For those of you who find it hard to give your dog medication, these are little Vienna sausages. I cut off a piece, little slit down the middle, and I stick the pill down in the middle, and I hold it for a good 20, 30 minutes. That allows the pill on the inside to get a little bit soggy. And so when he goes to eat it, he chews it right on up. No pill coming out. Works for us. And what is he doing now? Looking in my face. I don't know about Xanax. Whiskey has trazodone. Old Soul says if they investigate Hunter, they need to investigate Trump's kids, Trump's children. They're not kids. Trump's children. Let's properly label them. The Trump kids infantilizes them. They're not infants. They're not little kids. Cream cheese. Yeah, that cream cheese doesn't work for whiskey. They're not going to investigate Jared, Ivanka. They're not going to do any of that. The $2 billion that Jared walked away with, they ain't looking into none of that. Somebody says, please don't give dogs Xanax. Whiskey looking for them sausages. Yeah, he enjoyed that little treat. Mine is Baron, well, because he's too young. But I guarantee you, Baron's learning. He's learning how to get over. He's learning how to get over. Hey, peace, love, teach. So yeah, those are the things that stood out to me in regards to. And let me just read this. Let me just read this. All these financial ties Donald Trump has to these other countries. Azerbaijan. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. Azerbaijan. Panama, Canada, India, Qatar, South Korea, the United Kingdom, China, the Dominican Republic, United Arab Emirates, the Philippines, Grenada, Puerto Rico, which is a territory of the United States, Georgia, Israel, Brazil, Saint Martin, Mexico, Indonesia, Ireland, Turkey, and St. Vincent. The two that are the most problematic the one that's most problematic in this list is China. But let's not forget Russia. Donald Trump has financial ties to Russia. Okay? Remember, at the beginning of his presidency, he was trying to open a hotel in Russia. Somebody say tricking Whiskey Bear. Sometimes the tricks just gotta happen, baby, because if I don't, he's gonna be a mess once the fireworks start. Saudi Arabia. He has financial ties to all of these different countries. And the ties to Saudi Arabia probably came after the presidency. But remember, when he was going into the White House, he was trying to work out a deal with Russia to get his hotels into Russia. But we also know there's some ties between Donald Trump and Russia financially because of what was going down with Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank was fined hundreds of millions of dollars because of their ties to Russian oligarchs. Who was getting a lot of the loan money that he was getting? He was getting it from Deutsche Bank. Remember? And remember, I forget the Supreme Court justice who stepped down in the middle of Donald Trump's presidency. Remember? He stepped down, and we find out later that his son worked for Deutsche Bank. Y'all remember that? So don't let these people, these delusional, racist, hateful people, don't let them tell you that his tax returns are normal. There's nothing to see there. No. Go deeper. Justice Kennedy, thank you. Thank you. And remember, I think I did a video or I did a live in regards to Justice and tied his son to Donald Trump and found that video where Justice Kennedy and Donald Trump were making the announcement that he was retiring, and they were at that podium. They turned to walk down the hall and they were going into a door. Donald Trump said something to Justice Kennedy that stopped that man in his tracks. Thank you, Jay Craig. Diamond Pearl says she remembers. Yes, Diamond Pearl, I talked about it. I told y'all the connection between Donald Trump, Justice Kennedy, and Justice Kennedy's son. I tied it to the Russian oligarchs and Donald Trump's loans that he was getting from Deutsche Bank. Oh, yes, I've been doing this for a long time. I didn't get my start on TikTok, just so y'all know. My people over on YouTube, they've been with me for a while. It started on YouTube. These deep dives that I would do. My people on YouTube remember the Dotard files. They remember. I stepped way back from it because YouTube was YouTubing. But they know I used to do deep dives in all of the foolishness that was going on with Donald Trump, his administration. I was asking questions. I was critically thinking. I was tying it all together. Moving in Silence says Ivanka got all those patents. It was more than 13. It was more than 13. While he was in office, the patents she couldn't get before. Thank you, BB. The patents she couldn't get before, when he became president, they was throwing him at her. So what type of behind the scenes deal was going on for Ivanka to finally get all of her patents from China? Brandon says critically think Joe's links to the Ukraine. Brandon, you tell us what those links are. You tell us what those links are. Listen, I ain't for the Ukraine. I'm sorry that they're at war, but I remember at the beginning of the war how the people of Ukraine treated African students. So you in the wrong spot thinking that you getting under my skin with that comment. It's not going to happen. I remember how the Ukrainians treated Africans at the beginning of the war. But you here talking about links of Joe Biden to the Ukraine. Start listing them. You got the floor over here on TikTok. Start listing all of the links between Joe Biden and the Ukraine. We want to know. Thank you, Veronica. No Salt. Yes, No Salt been with me for a long time. A long time. He want to talk about links of Joe Biden to the Ukraine, but he don't want to talk about the reason why Donald Trump got impeached because of the dirt shit that he was doing to the Ukraine. He don't want to talk about that. He don't want to talk about that. No, Brandon don't want to talk about the dirt corruption shit that him and Rudy Giuliani was doing to Vladimir, what is that his name? Zelensky of the Ukraine. Remember that? When he got impeached? Yeah, Brandon don't want to talk about that, but he want to bring up some fictitious links of Joe Biden to the Ukraine. I think they're fictitious. But if Brandon can list all of these links with sources, I will gladly go and read about it and I will report on it. Brandon, you got the floor, baby. Drop it. Yeah, I don't do whataboutism also. I don't. I don't. And when y'all see me report, I provide y'all with the source and where I'm getting the information from, a snapshot, a video, something, right? And then I'll provide my opinion on that, whatever I'm bringing to you, right? I always come in with the source, right? When y'all see my videos, I always provide a source of where I'm getting this information from. Sometimes it could be wrong, but I'm providing y'all with something. I'm not pulling shit out of the air. Brandon's pulling shit out of the air because Brandon ain't dropped shit yet. Brandon, did they kick you out? They probably kicked you out, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. Tracy, I don't know. I don't know why they keep trying me. I told you they can't stay away from this brown sugar. First of all, I'm a black woman, so I shouldn't be speaking on powerful white men. Hey, J Beans. J Beans one kicked him out. Does Fox News count? No. Fox News does not count as a reliable source. Fox News is entertainment television. If you look them up, you'll learn that they categorize themselves as not a news network, but as entertainment television. And that's all they provide to their viewers is entertainment. They provide no facts whatsoever. None. None. Dominion will get Fox News. Yep, because how many billions is it? How many billions is that lawsuit for the lies that they told about their voting machines? Dominion is going after Fox News, Sidney Powell, Mike Lindell. And I just find it fascinating that Mike Lindell keeps going. His businesses are underwater. He's facing lawsuits up the yin yang, and he continues. Then he said he was running for, what was he running for? He's running for that lady, Rona McDaniel, Rona McDaniel, the person that's over the Republican committee. He's running for her job. He's running for her job. Hannity just said he didn't believe a word of what he was saying about. Exactly. But they're not gonna hear any of that. They ain't gonna hear any of that. No, they will I am clear. These people are not here for the truth. No, they're here to spew their nonsense. That's it. They're not here hey Teresa, they're not to hear the truth at all. I'm clear. So when I speak, I'm speaking to you all. I'm letting you all know what has come out. I'm breaking it down for you all. Because I believe that an educated voter is the best voter. And I'm specifically, when it comes to what I do, I'm specifically talking to my white people, my black people. And now I know I got white people that come along for the ride and they learn, and I'm all here for it. But I specifically come on here to educate the black community so that they can make informed decisions at the voting booth and they can recognize their voting power. That's my whole goal. Hey, the trusted banker. Michael, it's a grift. It's a grift, bougie, Barbie, it's a grift. They are all involved in this because of the grift, the money that they get from these ignorant, delusional people. When what's the girl name out there in Arizona? The one who lost to Katie Hobbs, Carrie Lake. Carrie Lake lost her whatever she was trying to do. She lost that lawsuit, and everybody's like, well, maybe she'll go away. Now she's not going away. She's not going away because it's the grift. The grift makes them money. She's going to appeal it. She's going to appeal it. And they're going to continue to financially support her. And she's going to continue to lose. Once she runs out of all of her appeals, she'll come up with a new grift. She'll come up with a new grift. And a lot of people like to call these people crazy. Sometimes when we call people crazy and say just ignore them, it's dismissive. And you can't just be dismissive when it comes to people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert and Jim Jordan and Carrie Lake. You can't just say they're crazy, just ignore them. No, these people are dangerous. The nonsense that they spew in the name of the grift to get that dollar, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. And so there has to be people like me or Muscles in Nursing or over here on YouTube, Dollarmore. There has to be people like us to come out and say, that's a lie. That's a lie. No, don't fall for it. Here's what's really going on. There has to be people out here to do that, because if not, people will be swayed in the wrong way. All right. How long we been on here? We've been on here for an hour and 20 minutes. I got my 50,000 likes over here on TikTok. Thank you so much. Thank you. I saw people donating to the Cash App and to the Venmo. Thank you to my people over here on YouTube who sent me super chats and also donated to the Cash App and the Venmo. I appreciate you all. MTG makes me ashamed to be a Georgian. I'm a Georgian. I'm not ashamed because I didn't vote for that bitch. I'm not ashamed. The people who voted for her should be ashamed. Did you vote for her? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Did you vote for her? If you didn't vote for her, why are you carrying that burden? I wouldn't carry that burden. Okay. No. Then don't carry that burden. The people who voted for her should be ashamed. Period. What happened on TikTok? Hey, Leslie, nothing happened on TikTok. I was just thanking people for getting me to 50,000 likes and thanking them for donating. Thank y'all. Over here on YouTube, if you have not hit the like button, hit the like button. It does the same as it does over here on TikTok, just a different way. Just a different way. Y'all have a fantastic day. Y'all be safe. Those of y'all that's going out for New Year's Eve and stuff like that, y'all be safe out there. To those of you, follow me on Instagram. Thank you, the Immigration Pro. Thank you. I had to start a new Instagram page. So if you are not following me on Instagram, or if you were following me on Instagram, you probably aren't following anymore. I had to start a new Instagram page. I see my brother down there, Quinster. Hey, please make sure you're following me over on Instagram. The name of the page is The Real Tabitha Speaks. Please follow me. I have a goal of 10,000. Looks like I'm not going to get to it, but it's growing, and I can be happy about that. New Year's, happy birthday to Bless. Staying in tonight, I'm staying in tonight, but I've got kids that live this side of me, and I've got grown men who are kids living this side of me. So I know the fireworks are going to be banging tonight. They typically are. So yes, please go over to Instagram. The name of the page is The Real Tabitha Speaks. Please go over and follow me. All right. I love y'all. I gotta go. I'm starving. I'll see y'all in the next one. Okay. Got a full house of people drinking tonight. Oh, and don't forget, y'all, for those of us who know the tradition, don't forget your collard greens, your black eyed peas, your pork, your fish. You know, y'all know how we do, and we know why we do it. I'll see y'all later. See you later.